The plastics, now they're waste and now they are a health hazard, they're an eyesore, but they can become a business opportunity.
Rose gold. Marble.
And the side tables have wireless charging. There are cabin doors for privacy. The new business class suite, designed from scratch, based on real passenger feedback. By Turkish Airlines.
There's a big chunk of microplastics between Hawaii and California. A very, very big...
An island.
An island. You know what I'm talking about. A big island that we cannot see from satellites. But these are all microplastics. I am big on this because of being a scuba diver and a free diver. I resonate because I've seen the ocean from slightly more depth. And when you're 30 meters below and you see plastics floating around, or even masks now, which I've seen with my own eyes, 30 meters, that's 100 feet below, it hurts. And I can resonate with you just saying this because even yesterday, I'm sure you were walking all across and, I understand we can do better. There's a project, there's a timeline that I was looking on where building energy efficiency in Nepal, and the timeline was 2022 to 2026, right? There was a project that I was just reading about. More projects in the future, Your Excellency, that we could collaborate and do together, not just in waste management, but many other sectors when it comes to getting rid of or working towards a efficient green climate within Nepal?
Absolutely. It's part of the same concept. So these are different angles.
Oh, this is the part. Zoom in, go back. This is, start this from the beginning. Yeah. I've flown across this. I'm sure you've flown across this as well. And I was just thinking about it when I read about it.
If I may, there's one thing I'd like to mention, yes. And that's that the plastics, now they're waste and now they are a health hazard, they're an eyesore, but they can become a business opportunity. And we have a couple of programs working on it. And I think I love them because I think the integrated way they look at the waste management is the right way to look at it. So they look at education, changing mindsets, education in schools, teaching young kids, to plant trees, but also to deal with waste, to recycle, to reuse. They work with municipalities on their waste management plans, on their contracts with people who have who deal with this waste. They deal with the businesses. Waste management is a business. It's been, an undignified business so far. We need to put the dignity back into it, and it's an interesting and very necessary part of the cycle.
Metropolitan cities, well, obviously Kathmandu is definitely there. I'm sure there are projects that you're running within Kathmandu as well. Across the nation? Is there any specific place that we're looking into?
We do, and as I said, I think we have a very, very we fund projects that have a very interesting approach. One in particular is Creation that deals with all these aspects. The problem is it's too small. We are in Nepalganj, we're in Bardibas, we're in Lalitpur. But these are few metropolitan cities that suffer from this problem. But this approach needs to be expanded and disseminated and multiplied and replicated across the country.
All across Nepal, right?
And especially as the country urbanizes.
We will have, like I mentioned, in the future, we will have satellite cities all across. We already have, but we definitely will have satellite cities all across Nepal, which definitely need a better model, and there's no shadow of a doubt on that. I was reading up on I was reading up on something that you is very big on, and I love this. And I love the statement that I was reading up on, which said there's no immediate solution for climate change. It's a long term. We have to work towards it long term. Any specific projects that you want to share on, Your Excellency, that we're working on right now?
It's long term, but it's urgent.
Very urgent. Agreed with you 100%.
So we're bringing our little contribution, but the European Union is 9% of overall emissions. So we need to team up. More than projects, is about teaming up and about getting countries on board. I think China is becoming a big actor and achieving fantastic milestones in climate change. It is big in green technologies, so it will be a big contributor. And we need to have as many allies as possible. Every single action, every single contribution counts.
What do you think of all the all the electric cars within Kathmandu? Have you seen that change?
Fantastic. I mean, it's a complete win-win because you have the clean energy to power them. This is what will, to a great extent, reduce air pollution, and that's the future of the economy. I mean, that's a huge contribution. We want to see more of that. We want to see electric motorbikes as well.
Oh yeah. There you go. This is the Earth Hour, right? Getting a new vehicle, why not? Consider an electric option.
Absolutely.
I want to retrack back on this. I remember some European nations being one of the first ones to go ahead and adapt. I don't know which exact countries, but I remember reading about it pre-COVID. I'm talking about pre-COVID. That some European nations, some European cities were one of the first ones to go ahead and adapt electric vehicles. How did Europe tend to go out and do that back in the day? Just like try out new things? Just tracking back on this, Your Excellency, your thoughts on it?
On converting vehicles?
Yeah, converting into electric vehicles. I believe Europe was one of the, European nations were one of the first ones to go out and convert into electric.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been quite a lot of, you need to invest in research and innovation, right? And there have been quite a few pioneers converting vehicles, investing more. Maybe, we haven't invested as much as China has. China is at the moment
the market leader.
By far the market leader.
I believe a few companies, again, not taking names, but are definitely making a lot of leap advances in electric vehicle and battery technology. And in the future, it's going to be a different world. It definitely is going to be a different world.
But even in Nepal, I'm aware of a couple of initiatives to try and convert buses. But they need to be able to run on the roads. And so the legislation needs to follow as well. That's really important. The government has a very clear regulatory and role of providing incentives for the electric vehicle to pick up in Nepal.
Two things I'll touch base on right away. I know that you talked about this earlier as well. By 2026, we definitely want to move up LDC, right? So, human capital development and good governance. These are two things that I would love to touch base on. Skilled manpower. It's very big with us as well. And again, FDI that we talked about earlier. Your thought process on this, Your Excellency? In the coming half a decade, in the coming decade, let's say, any suggestions, anything you want to emphasize on that EU is working towards for us to fast track it and move towards a better economic opportunity here? So
the graduation from LDC is a great milestone. It's a question of it's a reason to be proud. But it's also full of challenges. It's full of challenges because Nepal will lose a number of tariff advantages. and notably from the European Union side, the everything but arms. That was a zero tariff trade preference. So to counter that, to remain competitive, Nepal has to invest in a number of things. It needs to invest in so if you look at where the exports are at the moment and where the prospective export sectors are in future, Nepal needs to ensure and take the appropriate measures to ensure that these industries remain competitive.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जॉय गर्नुभयो होला अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ YouTube मा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला Vyas Media Network